Chris, there is so many different types of playing Magic. You can do your 60 card format, online formats, your CDH, your EDH. One of the best things is FNM, Chris. It is a blast. Like, grab your decks, you grab your backpack, you go say, hey, I'm going to hang out with my friends. One thing that takes a step above that is tournament play. Tournament play, there's so much on the line. You want the win, you want the prize, everything, but also just the vibe of the tournaments, man. That is a different thing. I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the vibe of Friday Night Magic, chilling with friends, having a blast, but the vibe of tournaments. Welcome back to Midweek Meta, guys. I'm your host, Maddie, and I've got my wonderful co-host, Chris. Well, what's going on, man? What's new? What you got brewing? What's life events? What's accessories? What's going on? Talk to me.
Malcolm's going on. Malcolm Mania. Okay? I've talked about it multiple times. I absolutely love Malcolm. It is insanely good. Keep swapping between the two different versions between Tana and Vile, and I have some really cool ideas, and we'll see if they work out properly or not. I've been checking some stuff out, but outside of that, just kind of preparing for tournaments that are coming up in the next couple of months. I know that you are, and but what's going on with you?
Myself, you hinted at, we got tournament coming up. We got Snowy Summit 2 up in Denver, February 1st. Yeah, first Saturday. Yeah, February 1st.
The MTG Basic guys are going to be up there, aren't
I'm
they?
so excited to see it.
Yeah.
Shout out to, hey, I know those hands. Hopefully they remember that. But that was a little joke. I ran into them because I watched so much of their gameplay. Chris hopefully will link them in the links down below. But shout out about links. We got Discord, you guys. Jump in here. Come talk to us. He'll put that in the channel down below. But come say hi. Come say what's going on. But other than that, I'm working on this Abzan list, man. I want to make it work. I just don't know what to do. Is it my curve? Is it my lands? It's so hard.
Is it your mulligans?
Okay, I don't want to talk about that. My mulligans are fine. You just get spiky starts, okay? Okay? Don't want to talk about that.
Sure.
But no, it is. Maybe it is my mulligans. But do I keep? It's hard when you're seat 4. Do you keep a hard stacks hand, or do I give myself a little advantage? Because Abzan, one thing that sucks is I run into these draw deficits where I can't do anything, and it's like, what's going on? When am I gonna fill my hand back up? But no, other than that, just been brewing some things, and let's get back to what we were talking about before. FNM versus tournament play. Well, not versus.
Okay.
That's not the word. Let's talk FNM and tournament play. What are they? What's the difference? But let's get into it. So obviously, we know FNM stands for Friday Night Magic. Yep. Correct me if I'm right. Am I wrong there?
Yep. Okay. If not, the comments will definitely let us know.
Yeah, it's actually a friendly, neighborly magic. That's what it is.
Sure.
But
Mr. Rogers magic.
Mr. Rogers. I just remember going, like I said, grabbing your bag, going and kicking your buddies, maybe grabbing a drink at the gas station, or if you're at a local store that does do drinks, grab from the drink from the local shop, and you just sit down and jam games. Or if there's an event going on, which tournament play can sometimes happen. I don't know how many times I've shown up to a shop and it's standard showdown or some event. I'm like, I don't play that format, but power to you guys. But Chris, what about you? Tell me about FNM to you, man. What's going on there?
FNM, the best thing about FNM is that it's kind of everywhere. It's countrywide. You show up, you make friends over time just because you show up enough times that you know people and they know you. You do well. You're a good competitor. I started playing FNM. I played Kitchen Table first, and then I went to FNM because some people suggested it, and it kind of stuck after that with the competitive itch, really. So FNM's great. You meet some new people, and you definitely make some lifelong friends there.
Oh, definitely. I think it really has the gathering of magic there. Bravo, Watsy, on getting a way to show your game in such an awesome way. But it's not like a flip side, the dark side, but tournament play. It's a lot more structured, hands-on. You need to have a deck list, you need to have things. But I also enjoy that too. Like that's That's a blast, man. Little story here. Snowy Summit 1, I went and I was running a Traxa at the time. Well, just barely. I was before time I was running a Traxa. And when I submitted my deck list, it submitted a Traxa. I was on TNT. So everything was pretty much the same. I had a couple swap outs because the Traxa's food chain, TNT's not food chain. But the judge calls me and I'm like, oh no, what happened? And they look at my submitted deck list, it's a Traxa. And I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And luckily, first round, start of everything was all good. I was able to get back in. But it has a scary moment, and that's the point of tournaments. You gotta submit the deck list. You can't be cheating. You can't be like, oh man, half the deck, half the tournaments running these certain cards. I can slot these in to do this other way. But otherwise, that's our format. You can't do that. But Chris here is going to talk more about the 60 card format. What you actually can do because you actually don't slot in, but you can pre-game think about what you might run into. Actually, answer that, Chris. Can't like so say you show up and you hear people talking about infinity, 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 and you didn't run enough artifact removal in your deck beforehand. If you haven't submitted, can you like put in a bunch of like nature's claim in a sense and change out your deck list and then go and be fine before you've
You
submitted?
you definitely can. So a lot of times during like Grand Prix and back in the day when they had SCG cons and things like that, what I would do is the Friday before the actual event, you could play in the just, whatever events. And you kind of see what people were playing that day. And maybe it was a precursor to, ooh, this deck is kind of killing right now. And I've actually done that before. I think it was when Mono Red was really big in Standard. And I think I main boarded some white spells that made them all come in tapped, and I gained life for each one of them. I forget which one that one is, but
Authority of the
it
Consult. That's a good one,
probably,
yeah.
and I played it, and it did so well. I think it did 2 main, 2 side, and it seemed a bit odd, but I was playing a very long game. So every time that something came in, I think it was they were playing. I think it was when Ragavan first came around. It was the 1 and 1 red, and every time that it attacked, it had menace. It would make a
Okay.
Ragavan attack
Oh, the
and swing.
pirate, yeah.
So every time that it came in, I gained a life. So it was basically a 1-1. So it's kind of cool. It was kind of cool, if you will. So PPTQs are great. Yes, 60 card formats. There's a lot of them, but really you get a sideboard of 15 cards. So really you start the game with 75. You just can't use the other 15 right at the beginning. And you kind of cool. I need these in. I need those out. So it's a little bit different than Commander. It'd be crazy if there was multiple games of Commander and you had a sideboard. We would be there for 4 hours playing a single game. But hey, that would
Oh,
be interesting.
that'd be crazy. Like the thing about sideboarder, like don't get me wrong, like we all have like our little stack of cards that we keep in our deck boxes of like, I'm gonna try these different cards, but an actual like, these are my 10 sideboard cards. But also something I just recently I didn't know that's but pre-boarding. I heard that's a big no-no. Like if say like you're in a tournament and you notice like we were talking about artifacts are crazy. So but you already planned for that, but instead of having 2 and 2, like you said, 2 in the main and 2 in the sideboard, you take your 2 in the sideboard, put in your main, you can't do that until it's after
No,
the first game. You have to beat the first, not beat. You have to finish the first game. Hopefully, beat. You have to beat and win the first game, but then you can make changes. Correct? That's how the sideboarding works. I'll make sure no issues there.
correct.
Okay.
You're starting because you get three games, if you will. You gotta do best 2 out of 3. You have to
Okay.
start the game with your 60 cards that you say that you put in your 60 cards. And these days you can put all your stuff on Mox Field for like for
Oh yeah,
Magic people. But
definitely.
I remember I had to write everything down. I
Mhm.
had to write everything down, and then cool 60 cards here, 15 cards here. You can't have any extras. You could have a sideboard guide, which was really helpful. You could have a piece of paper that you wrote down before the game, before any game started, and you could say, "Cool, take out these 4 cards, put in these 4 cards for each individual matchup," and it was phenomenal.
Okay.
That was different couple things, but I was definitely a big PPTQ grinder, which is a pre-Pro Tour qualifier, and if you won that, you would be able to go to the regional RCQ uh, and be able to then potentially, if you win that or do well in that, you're able to then go to the actual Pro Tour. So that's been a lot of fun. Then they just had regular just RCQs as whole. Win that game, and you go to the Pro Tour.
I'd rather build constructed is like when you build your own deck, correct? Like you,
Yes,
and then limited is in sealed. Limited is sealed, correct? If I'm not wrong.
and and draft I think
And
so
draft.
too.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm all about constructed, but that's also why we play CDH. We build our decks what we want to do. So we have both good experiences, both sides, and both sides does have bad experience. We've all seen that. Oh, that sweat, that guy that you're like, oh. Who I have to play against him. All right, I guess I'll deal with that. But we also, like you said, meet lifelong friends at FNM that you run into again. Speaking of me and Chris, like it was literally FNM is how we met. We jammed our games and we just started jamming more games and talking and then going to a new shop and here we are sitting in my basement, him in his house talking about magic. So and
Pretty
having a
much.
blast. Like that is like that's what we're here to talk about. But so do you have any cool experiences that you want to talk about, share with the audience, or do you want to jump into some questions I got for you?
I'm I would like to say that tournament play is kind of more of an evolution than anything. I
Okay.
think everyone kind of starts at like the kitchen table. Hey, come play Magic with us. I got a pre-con. Let's figure out the game. Let's play Dan, whatever, right? From there you go to the FNM, you meet some people, and then from there you grab your group and you say, they have a tournament. Let's go check it out together. Let's go compete and see
Oh,
because
like
we want to
Denver?
like Denver. But let's try and see if we beat heads against each other all day long. Like let's go see if we're actually good enough against other people in our region. And I think it's definitely an evolution. I don't think one's better than the other. Stepping down from if you play a lot of tournament play to FNM can see a little bit off, but at the same time, there's something magical about it where you're just like, there's no stress. People, you can be more chill and relaxed and just have a good time. So there's definitely a benefit to both. One is not better than the other.
Oh,
One is
definitely.
an evolution from the other one. You can't really go to straight tournament play if you don't know the basics of FNM.
I can make a straight video game reference. It's kind of like FNM is the base game of any like big like deal like big game you're playing like Call of Duty or something, and then you
Diablo.
have Diablo. So you have like some crazy junior thing, and then you have tournaments are your leaderboards. You're there,
Your
you get
your
it, you
hell your hell mode.
your hell mode. You get it, your crazy stuff. Okay, so I get that. I know me wrong. I love me grinding me some tournaments. I don't do PTQs anything like that, but I don't looking at standard. Who knows? There might be some interest. Shout out to my buddy Kenny. Has definitely got me interested in looking at standard and definitely grinded on arena. Maybe Chris get me talked into doing some arena videos for you guys. Let us know in the comments if you're interested. Let's talk about some questions between the two. We'll get down to business. Get down
Okay.
to what we're here to talk about the meta of FNM first tournament play. I'm just joking, no. But why it's gonna sound weird, and I don't mean to isolate anybody out or make anybody feel pointed out, but in FNM, why is the vibe just to play versus tournaments to win? I want to win, and normally when we play, we win. Bracket next bracket up is all winners. Keep going as long as we have enough people, and I just enjoy that because it's a little bit of bragging rights that night. But I also played with enough people. Like it's not FNM, but I go to another shop to play casually. I want to win because there's a prize. But after our first game, just chilling playing games. It's just jamming games. It's what it is. Like I understand CDH. We're always trying to win, but like I don't know. Like when I go to FNM, I don't have that same hard mentality I have when I go to a tournament. I am focused in. If that makes sense. Like what's your
Sure.
opinion there?
So I think it really is the prize support as well as like the rules enforcement level that kind of puts you in a different mode. Normally going to a tournament, you're going to be spending more than $5. You're going to be spending, you know, 20 plus.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the higher that you pay into it, the more likelihood you are to get like a foil Gaia's Cradle, maybe.
Yeah. Oh
Very
yeah.
expensive card, very expensive. A time twister, any of the OG duels, like there's a lot of line. You spent $30 to $40, and you're gonna be spending 7 hours on a Saturday minimum, probably a lot
Oh yeah.
more than that on a Saturday.
Especially if you're
So
winning.
yeah, you've had a lot invested. I think with the tournament, some people, me personally, if I don't practice for it the week or two before, I don't want to go. So there's a lot of prep work. There's a lot of investment. There's a lot of thought that goes into the deck of like, hey, how's the meta? What's going to go on? Whereas FNM is really, you can kind of do the same thing, but it's weekly.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably a lot of people do like $5 buy-ins, which isn't too crazy. Even like modern and other things like that, I've seen people do it, but definitely for sure for like Commander, like a lot of them they just come and play for free. So
Yeah.
there's not that much that's on the line.
There's something I want to pinpoint. You said it's the structure. When you go and play at tournaments, it's very much deck lists, no things on the table, no electronics. Like how many tournaments we've been that you can't have. How many games we go play that someone tosses their phone in front of us and it's life totals? You can't do that at tournaments. Like
Mm,
that's a big no no because, and like I was like, wait, why is that a big issue? Well, people run headphones. There's ways people can cheat off, and it's like if you're gonna cheat, man, like I'll just give it to you. Just openly tell me you want to cheat. Like if you're gonna cheat, just tell me and you can have it. But
sure.
that's my opinion there. If you got to cheat, but
It's not worth it.
it's not worth it. That's my point. Like you really got to like, oh, I got the win. Cool. Then I got other things to do. But the way tournaments is kind of like an unspoken rule, and that's something that's like definitely I'd love to get into with you sometime. Is like the unspoken side of EDH, CDH, the whole social dynamic, and why
Sure.
also I love the game. But um, you hit the point perfectly that it's structured is definitely what to get to, and when you have structured play, do you think it skews your view of normal Friday Night Magic? Like, say we planned it out like every other Friday, we're grinding games to put on game for the content, but also other like first Friday of the week, first and third, we go do grind games to do content. But then the second and fourth, we go do tournaments every Friday. We did that every time. And then suddenly Bruce and Adam are like, hey, come play Magic with us Friday because there's no tournament this week. And we're like, we don't want to go play casually. But to them, it's not casually. It's Friday Night Magic. It's grab your
Sure.
friends, prize support. But to us, it would be casual, right? Like in our mindset, it would like the way like grinders I'm not trying to put grinders out, but like there's a definite like I've seen people that come play like at Friday Night Magic, you're like, it's cool to you don't have to toss a turn two, dog. You can let it go to turn four. But you know what I mean? Like that's my opinion there. Like it's definitely can I will get your opinion. It can skew your opinion. Because I imagine like I don't know how we timed this, but I think we had a Salt City event. I was off doing something with family, and then I went to go do an like out of state event, and then came back to a Friday Night Magic and played, and the games were just and I was like, "Come on, man! I'm from tournament play. What's going on here?" And it's definitely a mindset difference, and but it's not a bad thing. I think that's cool if you can swap, because I love going to play Magic with you guys on Friday. I'm not wrong. I love jumping games like tomorrow, jamming games at Queens. It's gonna be a blast. Like it's definitely a vibe. Like I guess but my question is before we so you can kind of go back to you so you have an answer. Can only playing tournaments really skew your view on FNM?
I think it definitely can. I think it definitely can. I think that's why it's always good to have like a turn zero understanding. Like, hey, are we here to practice for a tournament? Are we here to chill and just kind of like get your mind straight whenever that does happen? If you're grinding on spell table all the time and tournament, and then you go and then someone spite plays you, someone's playing a bad deck, someone's not playing an optimized deck, like I can understand where would get incredibly frustrating. I
Mhm.
would, and I've been there entirely, and I've had to be able to sit down and say, these people aren't here for the same reasons why I'm here. Okay, and understanding why are they here? Okay, can I also get in the same mindset as I'm just here to have fun because they're just here to have fun? There's nothing worse than going somewhere expecting everyone to play by your rules and grind and play to the best of their abilities and don't spite play, and it's
Wait,
an
wait, 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 wait.
unrealistic.
Pause right there. Have you played D&D before, dog? Have you
No,
DM'd? Because that's the same
no,
way I feel ever. Side note, I read game every Sunday, but that's how I feel. I used to feel when I first started DMing, and the players weren't doing what I wanted them, or I remember going to my old store before I actually met you and going to play on a Friday, and I would play my Avzan list before I tuned it up and got a little bit more refined. I would play against people and they'd get pissed that I'd win with Feldar Guardian Corpse Knight Restoration Lampo. They're like, "Oh, you're just combo," and it's like it's turn 8, and this is like a creature based combo. One swords the plowshare, and I'm done. That's all you gotta
sure.
do. But like, it's that vibe that just kills, and it's like I was looking. I always look to go play. I don't know, like when I like to play Magic, I like especially when there's prize. You know that right there. If there's prize on the point, I'm here to play, man. I'm here to. I want that. And
Sure.
I don't know. I guess that's a mind thing, but not to run you off, but finish your thought here. Sorry, cut you
You're
off,
fine. Um,
or you kind of wrapped
so
you up. I guess you were, but
yeah, just wrapping up with like really just getting on the same mindset. And if you can't, then it might be time for you to have that conversation with your group. I think is perfectly acceptable. Hey, this is why I'm here. Are you guys let's sit down and figure out where everyone's mind's at. I think that's really, really important and it's really adult of everyone to do of saying, why are you coming here? Well, I'm just here to just have fun with friends. Like, cool, that's not why I'm here. And if you can't get in sync with the rest of the group, then it's okay to find another group to play online, to do whatever, and then to come back and say, I just want to play Jank and enjoy an F&M. There's nothing wrong with that. So just
oh
being
yeah,
able to understand realistic expectations that everyone's not going to be in the same level that you are, and can you be okay with that? And if you can't, don't
again,
hate.
don't hate, and definitely don't be condescending. Don't become the person people talk. I don't. Okay, everyone does it. We've all been to game shops. There's that person that shows up, and everyone's like, oh no, they're here. And you're like, but everyone acts nice. They're nice to them. They're decent. But like, you go off to the side where the side table is, and we're like, hey, 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 hey,
Yeah.
hey. and
That's
and the
me my
wor-
entire career. People are like, oh, it's Chris. He's gonna
oh,
win.
that's true. That is 100% true. That how I knew you were turn two one ring man. So I guess you were pretty competitive. But speaking of competitive, um, do you think the support of FNM is going like the price support is going to get better? And I guess when I think say, make sure that everyone's aware when we say FNM, just and Chris can kind of agree here. Hopefully, we're talking mostly commander side FNM, the EDH, the CDH side. Where, yeah, if you go to an FNM where you can play modern, you've already got your price support for a Magic. You sign up, bracket out, and everything's great. But we don't have that. That we don't. We have to do it through different programs. We have to do it through the shop, and the shops are great. Most shops do it, and you get promos, and it's awesome. But it's kind of Wizards. You own our format now. Can you give us a little support, please? A
An incentive,
little
sure, to show
incentive,
up and
like
support.
yeah,
Yeah.
like and like 100%. I will always put a code in. You put a code out for me, I will always join you. But it's still putting a code in, man. It's supporting. It's local business. But do you think we're gonna get more support?
Well, really, what do you define as more support? So a pack for each win, cash prize, like
I would
y-
say, but
come.
I would say
Yeah,
support. So I can clarify that for you is I would say give us the system, the app itself, or the program that like store owners use. Support Commander. That
okay.
even just that, like, just give us an app, like, fix the app, man. Like, I'm sorry,
Oh,
there's third-party apps that do better than you guys, but I also understand you have your own things, your development teams, I get it, but it's a little sad in my opinion. It's you guys have it's been wasn't it supposed to be October? They were supposed to give us some kind of announcement for the format?
I thought they were gonna do something about the bracket system
Yeah, and it's
a
like
while ago as well.
and
Not
I'm
not
not
to hate on them because they
I
got a lot going
I
on.
guess I'm
It's
gonna pivot there a
Christmas.
little bit. Let's talk about that, the bracket system. We're gonna do a little
Sure.
side note here. Will you give us like a I know it's a lot to cover. You have a lot to go through. There's a lot to process and select, but can you at least give us some kind of idea to I hate to say it when you release the brackets, oh, all 8 of my decks that I've got back here are tier 4 because I run Soul Ring. Are all precons tier 4 now? Because you also put those in, you know what I mean? Like, can you give us
Yeah.
something? Like, that's what I mean. That's kind of my thing. Like, the brackets are cool, but like, give us a hint or something, an idea.
Well, I think it'd be really awesome because we have a lot of people at our store that are like more casual, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Please, being able to like break them up into their own tournaments, you know what I mean, and get a tier two, a tier three tournament. Like, cool, I'll go. Hey, I want to go do the tier two tournament.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? There's 16 people or there's 15 people. They need one more. Like, cool, I got a tier two deck. Let's go do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I'm okay for everyone to play at the same power level. I'm perfectly okay with that.
But back to the question, getting the support to the store. Like, I don't know. I believe if we can get it, I believe if WotC says, okay, here's your commander support, then next thing is you start to get price support, which is packs or what is it? Not packs. It's promo like promo cards. Like I hate we're never gonna get back to the old DCIs and those kind of promos, but you do get like the foil-edged soul rings.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Arcane Signet. I think they were handing out hollow ones not too long ago.
oh yeah,
So I mean, and
they're
that's
so
seeing play in
dope.
modern
Yeah.
right now. So
And that's the point. Like you get some cool arts, and then we all about that deck. Once you get your favorite deck, you bling it out. You get the fancy version of everything. Which shout out to Wizards. I enjoy all the fancy stuff. You produce too fast, but I enjoy it.
sure.
As we wrap this up, the last question I have: how does your mindset change between the two? Like, is there Chris FNM, Chris Tournament? Does that make sense? Like, do you have
Y-
a swap? I guess do you have a switch that you do, or do you kind of just balance it like
So everything that you do is like repetitions. Maybe you don't push as hard, but like everyone mulligans, right?
Yeah.
At tournaments, at not tournaments. Okay, does this a keepable hand? I think I keep I think I keep more risky hands during FNM to see if it does pan out. Like, okay, can I run on 2 lands and 1 tutor? Can I do X, Y, and Z? And so I think FNM is for me is a little bit more of a testing ground where I'm trying out some different stuff, and I don't really care if I win. I care if I'm playing a good game. You know, so the winning isn't as important because I don't. There's no top 16. There's no I got to get the guy's cradle. There's really just cool. Is everyone having fun? And am I playing good, clean, tight lines? And that's really what it comes down to. And sometimes I'm like, does this hand work? So I think during FNM, I'm a little bit more risky and a little bit more. That's what it is. But I think I am a little bit more relaxed, and it's don't take it so seriously because, like I said, I don't care if I win. I care if the group is getting better in FNM more than anything.
Okay. Okay. That's definitely a good way to look at it. And I think you nailed it on the head. I believe F and M will keep trending up. I believe if especially if WotC's even just trickles a little bit of support to it, I think it will keep trending up because that's how you got modern what it was. That's how you got legacy and the want legacy. That's modern. That's why modern's still a thing. It's why standard's still like becoming a thing. And they've shown it with the how much support standard has gotten lately. I'm sorry, Urza, the full art Urza saga. Oh, it's fire. Well, how do you get that? Standard showdown. Like I didn't know that, and it's just pretty cool. Like it's awesome that FM can do that, and once we get more of that in Commander, I think it'll be kind of cool. And once they actually show the like, yeah, they have the product support, but once they say, hey, here's our supported app, here's your bracketing game stores, I think Magic will be a next step forward, and I think 2025 is the year that's going to happen. But Chris, we've talked about F&M tournaments, kind of the more different versions and what we like about it. But remember, you guys, stay confident and not condescending. We'll catch you next week. Catch you later.